The
Jermaine,
What's
technique.
what's
good?
up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you for joining us. I know you're having a busy week. You're just coming off of that win.
Yes,
Um,
sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, man. Just wanted to talk about. I mean, first of all, how'd you feel when dude body slammed you?
That was fun. Actually, I took the fall. When you play fight a lot, so BJJ and stuff like that, you learn how to fall. So it was kind of one of the moments where I took the fall.
So how'd it feel, man? Obviously, we
But
just had
the fight
Rashidi
was
Ellis.
good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pause there. I was saying, how'd it feel? We just had Rashidi Ellis's trainer on who knows you well and knows CES and Jimmy Birchfield. And I compared your show to Rashidi's. I mean, Rashidi's, you couldn't see him. And he himself, Alex Rivera was like, yeah, I looked at Jamaine's and man, ours was nothing like that. How'd you feel fighting on the Box Lab and I think that's MVP co-promotion as well with CES and DAZN and I mean, yeah, how'd you feel being the main event and being treated as the A side?
To be honest, I felt real good, especially at the Caribbean Royale in Orlando. It's like a second home to me. So I felt real comfortable. It's my third time. It was my third time fighting in Florida. My second time headlining at the Caribbean Royale. Uh, so I definitely felt comfortable. Getting back into the ring just felt good. Long time, and I just wanted to finally get out there and, you know, do what I do best, and that's fight. So I felt good. What else can I say? Uh, it was definitely improved since the last time I fought. They got the stage now where you walk out. Box Lab is doing their thing.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Amari Piedra and Eric and Enrique. Um, what ultimately made you decide on Box Lab? I'm sure you had options. There was rumors that you were gonna sign a Matchroom. You were in Orlando at one point on a Matchroom at a Matchroom show. What made you decide with Box Lab?
The structure of the deal was just more appealing to me for what I was looking for at the time. And not saying that there's no opportunities for future fights with Matchroom, but the way we're working right now, it's I don't like to give too many details, but it's good, and it was something that I think was in my benefit to work with Box Lab.
So what is next? Because we know they stay very active. They're always putting on shows. They have a Cuban heavyweight, Lanier Peru, who he fights every month. Are you looking to come back that soon, or are you taking the normal time and you're fighting every 3 months?
Mm, Now, well, 3 months. I'm looking to get back by January.
Okay.
So we're in November. December, 2.5 months. Yeah, I don't think I'll be in the ring by next month. But if something appealing pops up, who knows? I'm trying to stay as active as possible, man. So if I could get 3, 4 fights in, from now to the end of next year, great. 5 fights, great. I've had a lot of times in my career where I've only fought once or only fought twice. I've been a professional for 8 years now, but I only got like 20 fights. So I know by now I should be having more fights under my belt, and that's been due to a lot of inactivity for or having a lot of months in between fights. So I'm just trying to stay as active as I can.
So you picked up a strap in the WBA, which will get you ranked. Now you have to start looking at those guys in that ranking. Um, are you just looking at the names, or you know, is a guy like Myquan Williams somebody on your radar? He just fought, I believe, on the zone as well on a Lou DiBella show and got a stoppage. He's in the 140-pound division. Also has a version of the WBA as well.
I know McQuan very well. We grew up in the amateurs together. We're not too far apart. And again, in this boxing game, there's no friendship. So if the opportunity comes, then we have to fight. But my main focus is Rayo. You know, I want that world title contention.
The reason I asked is because I had posed this question to Alex by mistake. It was meant to be for you. You're 140, and from that area, so Foxwoods would be a good location for you and Mike Kwan, who's from East Hartford, Connecticut, and CES is also over there, which now has this co-promotion deal with the Zone. So I just thought maybe another fight to cater to your fan base with a hometown fighter.
Um, yeah, if it makes sense and if the people want it, and it's good for if it's good for our careers and it's gonna get us to a world title eliminator, I think there's no problem doing that fight.
Now you're saying your focus is on Rayo. Uh, Box Lab does kind of work with PBC. We see they have a lot of Bob Santos fighters who's usually, with PBC. Can you see a world where Rayo sends you an offer and it's something that can be done?
I believe so. I believe anything can be done, and like I said, I think if it's not the next fight, um, meaning if I'm not fighting him in my next fight, and I could get another fight where I can get a title eliminator against somebody else in the top 10 and make myself mandatory for that belt. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, to position myself to be mandatory and to fight for a title eliminator and to fight the best in the rankings to get that opportunity for that world title. I'm not trying to have 3 fights before I have to fight for another world title.
Do you think Box Lab is capable of getting you the Regis Prograis fight? He's just coming off a loss. He's still in the top 10, number 8 in the ring. He's a former world champion. Is that something you'd be interested in or not really because he's on the back half of his career in your eyes?
Oh man, I've been wanting to fight Regis for a while now, and it just sucks that I'm calling these guys out. I say I want to fight them, then they go fight somebody else, and somebody else beats the shit out of them when I could have been the one beating the shit out of them. So it sucks because it doesn't look like I did it first. Like I'll love to be the first person to do it, but it doesn't matter if I'm the second or third. I think it's still a great fight for boxing fans. It's still a great fight to put on. It still can be an entertaining fight. Again, as we know, styles make fights, and I think our styles will clash to have a great fight, a great entertaining fight.
Um, do you think at this point you fought, big names in your career and you don't need to work up the rankings? Your name is valuable enough to get you a shot at highly ranked fighters, or do you think you have to work up the WBA rankings to get to Rayo?
Um, a mixture of both. I think my name is enough to get to the top, but also where my ranking is, the top names in the top 5 are still good names. The ones you mentioned are Regis, Rayo, Hitchison's, whatever it is, Aparo. My name is still good, and my rankings is still aligned to fight any of them as well. So I think it's a mixture of both. I don't think I have to work my way up in the sense of fighting somebody who's is not in the top 10 or doesn't have a big enough name or wasn't world champion or former world champion. I don't think I have to go steep low like that, but someone who's been a former world champion or has a good name, obviously I think it's very easy to make those fights, especially with my name and with my rankings.
Would you
Jermaine,
give me one last one, Tone? Would you be willing to fight Nestor Bravo, who's ranked number 5 in the WBA? He's with MVP, who does business with Box Lab and has a co-promotion with Box Lab. He's fought in Orlando and Carib, where you say is your second home. That could be a main event.
Yeah, of course I'll be willing to fight him.
Okay. Okay. Tone, on you.
Jermaine Two Tone Superstar here. Man, you was hated on in the Loma fight. You was hated on in the TO fight. Your last fight, you did not leave it to the judges. Was that a plan to go in there and just whoop this man? It's like, yo, I'm not putting this in the judges' hands no more.
Exactly. You're right, Tones. And it's going like that from now on. So any guys that you guys mentioned, if it's Regis, if it's Rayo, if it's Nesta Bravo, that's
He
how
gotta
I'm
go.
going. A lot of you guys have seen me box before, but you guys know I'm an action-packed fighter as well. And I'm just fed up with the game, and it's entertainment, and I'm trying to make these last couple years of my career in the sense of however long I got left. We know boxing is not a forever sport, and just have fun with it, be entertaining, and make my mark in the sport. And that's becoming world champion, fighting the best, and having fun doing it, and having fights that people remember forever.
That's what's up. And can we get some predictions, man? Can we get Boots, Karen prediction, and Keyshawn Limon prediction? Who you got?
I got Boots, and
Mm.
I don't know who Keyshawn's fighting.
He's fighting the guy that Richardson Hitchison last fought. Gustavo Limons, I think he's Argentine. You didn't watch that one either?
I didn't watch that fight. I didn't
Gotta
watch that
gotta
fight.
watch it, man. Those guys are in your division, and he's a
I'm gonna
good
watch it.
boxer, but he did have some trouble with Limons. Limons, he's an interesting fight. The issue is he last fought at 40. He's going down to 35, where he normally fought. He moved up to 40 to fight Hitchens and gave him hell. So he's going back
Okay,
down to
but but
35.
but it's going back down to 35. Yeah, I heard some commentators. I hear some things on YouTube and sometimes, and I heard that he's a puncher, and it could be a tough fight for Keyshawn. But you know what? I'll
Hey,
do my homework
oh,
and I'll
sorry.
go and watch those fights, and then I'll text you back a prediction.
Bet. Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, Jermaine, Ryan Fraser here, Boxing Talk up north. I just wanted to know what you think about Kenneth Sims and Duarte. Like, that's in your division. Those are two
Well,
dudes that I think you mix it up with, and it's a good fight.
I hate
Is
to.
that fight still valid?
That's what I'm
I
saying.
thought
I
it
hate.
fell off.
It did fall off, and
Oh, shoot.
Akhmadov is taking Kenneth Sims' place. He's got an undisclosed injury, which is wild. He's been waiting for an
Oh,
opportunity all his
man.
life, and now this happens.
Damn.
But
Yeah, that was going to be a barn burner.
it did trigger me, man, because I was saying that Kenny Sims has been waiting for an opportunity all his life, and this happens. So he doesn't get that Turkey al Sheikh Saudi Arabia money. But you're a guy that you've been traveling to Dubai. You got an apartment in Dubai. Have you not gotten a call from al Sheikh? Like, what's going on?
Dude, I haven't yet.
Damn.
God willing, something comes up soon, and we can make a good fight happen. It could have been easily possible. Well, not really possible because that fight is next week. I was talking about being a replacement for Sims, but you know, I don't know why. I should definitely be the one fighting out there in Saudi. Out of all these fighters in America, I should be the one fighting out there in Saudi.
Yeah, man. Speaker, believer, receiver. Let's hope that this conversation, finds its way to the right people, and you do get that opportunity because 140 is a popular division. I mean, you can be a potential. It depends. Ryan Garcia doesn't look like he's coming back to 40. He's never ever made it. Would you be willing? Let's say Golden Boy calls you for Ryan's first fight off of the suspension. Would you take that at his preferred weight?
And what is that preferred weight? I'll do
Well,
a catch weight of 145.
or possibly welterweight, right? Because he hasn't fought at welterweight, but he's been mentioning some welterweight fights. And yes, most of his, 40-pound fights have been above 40, never at 40. So, but you would be
Yeah,
willing to fight him.
yeah.
What's your thoughts on the drug testing? Do you have any, I guess,
Opinion?
specific criteria on what testing you would want, or you don't care, you would just want the fight and hope for the best?
Obviously, a safe sport is best. So obviously, VADA testing, where we're getting randomly tested. Once the deal, I think once things are in negotiations, things should already be in. We should be getting tested.
Now, You said Vada. Recently, Ryan came out and said he doesn't believe in Vada and he would prefer to use USADA. As a former amateur and pro, what has been your experiences with USADA and Vada, and what do you prefer?
I can't recall too much experience with USADA, mainly Vada, you know. I was with Vada, and it's normal, you know, they come and drug test you any time of the day, morning, night, just, you know, random testing. It's been clear cut for me, you know. They've tested me a lot
Um. So, why Rayo?
because he's the world champion in the WBA. I just fought for a WBA title. Um, and I think stylistically it will be a great firefight.
And do you have any reservation on fighting Puello, Dominican versus Dominican? He
There's
is
no
the
reservation. There's no reservation. I don't even know Puello.
okay.
I don't care Dominican to Dominican, Latin to Latin, skin color to color, Muslim to Muslim. I don't care. We're in a fighting game. There's no friends in this. Even if there are friends, at the end of the day, it's business. And you have your goals. I got my goals. I got my family to feed. And you know, like I said, I just want to make a statement piece in this sport and be remembered. And that's not gonna be by restricting fights because one's of my kind or because I know somebody from down the block. It doesn't work that way.
So I take it that means you would be open if an offer came for a return fight for Devin Haney at 140.
Sure. You know it. You know it. You know, we spoken about this fight a long time ago, many times. That's always on the open table.
As a fighter, how do you look at that fight with Ryan and Haney? I sit here and I argue with people every day because, again, I'm not in the ring, but I feel like I don't give Ryan credit for what I seen because he tested positive, but you're the fighter. Do you still give him some sort of credit or look at him as a threat because of what you've seen, or do you even look at Haney less than because of what you've seen? How do you take that fight?
I don't look at Haney less than. No, I do not. And I do not with Ryan Garcia. It's he did something, but I don't like you said, it's not full credit. You give him no credit, I wouldn't say I give him full credit. I wouldn't say I'd give him no credit because you still gotta have somewhat of a conscious mind to know when to time those shots. You still got to have some speed. It's not like PEDs automatically give you this superpower to know how to fight and throw punches and all this. They enhance you. So I'm not gonna give him no credit. Gonna have definitely credit. Give him 100% credit. No, he got some assistance. I could say that. Definitely had some assistance, but you got to give him credit at least for something. And I still again, I don't look at Devin Haney less than because the assistance that was used that can once you get clipped, you know, it's very hard to recover. You know, there's some fighters that can do it, but once you get clipped, doesn't matter all the skills you got. You gotta. Everybody reacts differently.
So,
Can you oh go ahead.
go ahead, Troy.
I was gonna ask, could you explain for the casual fan or the novice boxer who's just getting in the game, when you get clipped, have you ever been clipped in a professional
I'm pretty
scrap?
sure. Yeah.
Can you just describe the difference between being wrung, actually hurt, where you kind of like drunk, and then like shots that are just painful, that just hurt painfully? Because people think kind of like it's all the same, and for the casual fan, I don't know what they're thinking. So could you explain that to them, the different levels of punch resistance, getting hit, and how it feel to be hurt and trying to weather how I feel when you get hit with a hard shot and it physically hurts you like a heavy puncher. Can you describe that to them?
I think the difference is like we know them flash knockdowns, right? Like you just get hit and you just like, what? You on the floor, but you get back up and you're good to go, right? And then there's other shots that you're still dazed. You get up and you're still out of it, and it's taking you time to recover. You don't got your legs under you, and then there's shots that dude just keeps hurting you that got you second guessing of if you're gonna keep coming in and throwing punches, because every time he hits you, it could be the combination of speed and power that he just it's a repeat. It's a repeat of feeling stunned, I guess. Instead of having that flash knockdown, it's of a all right, I got rocked. I'm dizzy with every shot.
Jermaine, do you look at Devin as chinny now? Because the fans, again, this is a call-in show. They thought he was chinny because of the Linares fight. Like, oh, we seen him get rocked by Linares, but he never went down, but they still would use that against him. Now this fight happened and he went down. The casual fan, they believe he got knocked out. He actually made it to the 12th. But as a fighter, do you now consider him chinny?
No, the only thing is I just don't know how he's gonna bounce back. Like the bounce back, you know, when you have a fight like that, just the bounce back. You got to see him how he bounces back. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna
Explain
be.
to the casual fan how a fight like that with that amount of damage makes it hard mentally and physically to get back on that horse, pause, and get your work in, especially when you've been clipped like that over and over and you took a lot of physical damage. Because sometimes I don't think they realize that type of physical damage takes something off your barometer.
Yeah, I definitely think it does. Like at least from when I look at history in boxing and past fighters, people who've gotten knocked down multiple times, you just start to see it as a pattern, right? You start seeing it more and more often. Once fighter gets knocked down once, it's like, all right, now you just see it reoccur and reoccur and reoccur again. So does that make them chinny? You start seeing that sometimes they say, everybody has their own opinion. Some people say either he got a chin or you don't. Either you're born with a chin or you don't. And sometimes once you've never been dropped, but once you get dropped once, now it just happens more often. So I think that is the other term of what people become. You can become chinny by getting clipped once. I don't know if I answered your question. I kind of lost myself
No,
there
you
and
good,
what your
champ.
question was.
I was just asking a couple of technical questions. Can you tell the fans who are watching the stylistic difference of a Lomachenko and a Tiafimo and how you have to approach the fight, whether it be using the jab, whether it be fighting inside,
Okay.
because like you said, styles make fights, but when you accomplish more than one style, it makes you able to compete on a level that you're on. So can you explain to them the technical difference of fighting a Lomachenko who is a mover? He can kind of come forward. He got a lot of different dynamics. And then a puncher like Tio or, somebody who's explosive. Could you give them what makes them guys different and what makes them similar to on that level to be able to stay on that level?
Okay. Yeah, so stylistically difference, at least when I follow Manchenko, was um I didn't see him as, let's say, possibly as a big puncher, but I knew he was very smart. But him not being a big puncher, he can also has a lot of TKOs and can stop you, right? With overwhelming amount of punches. With that fight, I was a little bit more in and out, more aggressive as well as I took the fight to him because um, just my reach I felt was longer. And again, I know how he does. He doesn't do too good backing up. He doesn't do too good backing up. So you bring the fight more towards him. Versus Teofimo, he's a person that, for me, is just very explosive. Just you just gotta see where the shots are coming from. When you fight a boxer who is not so standardized. Them shots be coming from anywhere. So sometimes
I
Till's
never
shots can
boxed
come from
before,
kind
so
of
if you
from
real
anywhere,
quick,
from the
could
top, from the bottom.
you explain it to the people who never boxed before?
Um, Shoot, I'm not good at that. Explaining. Um, Let me see where I found. Let me recollect myself. So Teofimo, for a person who never boxed before, he's more
You said
explosive,
Teofimo was
meaning
explosive.
his shot, yeah, his shots were he's more explosive. So he has like a twitchy, a fast twitchy style. So meaning that his very quick, very quick, things that you don't see. And with boxing, the punches you don't see tends to be the ones that can hurt you. So you just got to be very careful about that. But also with him, I know that emotionally he doesn't have control. Uh, that was
Ooh,
part when you
that's a
watch him,
good
you know
point,
that
bro.
he loses it. So uh, using that in your favor, if you know he can't control himself, if you know you can get him upset and it's gonna take over emotions inside the ring, is how can you use that to your advantage? So when you make someone miss, it frustrates them. So obviously that's what you would do, and that is the tactic for that person because you want to try to get every edge you can, and throw that person off of their game, off of their thing. And going back to the Lomachenko, I know a lot of times he likes to kind of use his lead hand and parry a lot. So you gotta beat him to it. You gotta take away your opponent's best thing, what they got, right? Like what Terrence Crawford did to Errol Spence. Errol Spence always had a great jab, but what did Terrence do? He took away his jab and used the other opponent's powerful weapon against him and used his jab. So it was kind of that, you just got to see what is powerful for them. I know Tayl's big on the mind, but once he loses it, he's gone. So it's like, how can you take that away from him? Does that make
Thank you,
sense
bro.
on strategies?
Makes sense. Makes sense. I was trying to get this updated in time. Let me see if I refresh it, where we're at with it. All right, so I'm gonna just screen share it anyway. It's a 140-pound tournament here, hypothetical. Obviously, it would put you and Tio back in versus each other. And as you can see, it would be Devin and Sandor. So who would you have in this winner, Devin versus Sandor?
Devin.
And obviously, Josh Taylor already advanced over Catterall. Catterall advanced over Josh Taylor. Hypothetical, Regis and Matias, both coming off losses. Who would you advance?
That's hard.
I'm going with
Mm.
Regis because he ain't got to go get nobody, and that gives him problems with his feet work. I'm going with Regis because if you stand in front of him, he can work with you. But if you move a mover, he gonna have problems.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Regis. I think Regis can move more side to side in the pocket than Matias.
Good
So
point.
Isak Cruz versus Kenneth Sims, because Arnold Barboza is busy with Jose Ramirez.
Kenneth Sims.
Oh wow! Yeah, I mean, Rayo
No.
did show us that he could be outboxed. Good pick.
Mm.
Liam Pardo, Richardson Hitchens winner versus your fighter Jose Venezuela. Ignore Ryan. Now we gotta update it.
So Liam Paro or Jose Venezuela.
That's a hard fight.
Shit. Mm,
Yeah, Liam Powell's a dog, man.
Mm-hmm. And he's got momentum.
I'm
He
gonna go
been
with
winning.
Paro on a
go
split
with Paro.
decision off
Yeah,
the
I'll
southpaw,
go with Paro.
Oh
off the
yeah, he's a
typical
southpaw.
southpaw.
Yeah, he's a southpaw.
I'll go with
Then we
Paro.
got Hitchens versus Puello.
To be honest, with that matchup, I think I'm gonna go with Puello.
And Gary Antoine versus Ishmael Basurro, who just lost to Andy Hirioka in Japan, I believe.
That's the older cat, right?
Yeah, the one that beat
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Davies by
Gary.
knockout.
Gary. I'll go with Gary.
And you in the rematch.
Me.
All right, so now you got to face Gary next because you picked Gary to win.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
assuming you're picking yourself over Gary.
Of course.
Why do you think you have the advantage over him?
Yeah, how would you beat him technically
That I'm
without
not
giving
gonna
him too
say
much?
when I give him too much. Uh,
Yeah.
like I said,
Tough.
No,
I'm
I
not.
can't. You can't tell him the whole plan. Y'all might fight. So without giving up
Yeah.
too much
Yeah.
game, how would you technically neutralize him? Yeah, I'm on your ass, Ortiz. I like you, bro. Pause.
Uh, without giving too much, I'm gonna just say it like this because this is one thing I could say is that I ain't going to the decision, man. I ain't leaving it up to the judges with none of these fighters.
None.
So however you
It's the
say how
technician.
I'm
It's
gonna
the
beat
technician
them
right here.
or
Okay.
whatever,
This is the
Okay.
technician.
it ain't going to decision. I don't want it to go to decision. I'm a risk
Is you
taker,
gonna do it
and that's what
boxing
you guys
or
gonna
on the
see,
or in the? Say it again.
huh?
You gonna do it boxing or you gonna mix it up or you gonna be on the inside, medium range?
I'm not letting it trying to go to decision. It could be again. You can dog walk somebody, you can overwhelm them, you can catch them to the body, you can. There's so many ways to finish a guy. You can make him quit, you can embarrass him, you could Roberto Duran their ass. There's ways, but it ain't. I ain't trying going to the. I ain't going to the decision with none of these fighters. So that is the strategy. If that's what you guys want to take it, that's what you guys want to know how I'll neutralize it that way.
So
You can, man.
one more here. You picked who over Hitchens and Puello?
I picked Puello over Hitchinson's.
So then you picked Paro over Venezuela.
Yeah.
So Puello versus Paro? Because the winner of that would have to fight you if you, because you're saying
Yeah.
you would advance with Tio, then advance with Antoine.
Yeah. Um, Paro or Puello.
I wonder if they sparred. They both were in Vegas at one point for a while.
Uh,
What is Puello's fighting style? Because I don't think I've seen Cousin.
Boxer, puncher. More
mm,
boxer, but definitely he got pop.
Yeah.
What's his first name? I'm about to look at him real quick.
Alberto,
Alberto.
I think.
Alberto.
but
Yeah.
because I didn't see a lot of Paro's fights. What's his style? He's a southpaw.
He be kind of using in and out. Well, when he fought Montana Love, he used a little bit of in and out movement. He has a decent jab. He's a good boxer, and he got decently snappy power.
Yeah,
He
he
has
got pop.
deceptive power.
He got
Hmm.
pop. He knocked out Brock Jarvis. He knocked out Montana
Yeah,
too, right?
Yeah, he stopped him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
he
Mm.
did.
ain't the most athletic with the rhythm, but he does have an in and out movement, and he does know how to work off of it. And he's not an uneducated southpaw, as I could say. He takes the right paths. He go make the you know
Hmm.
what I mean. He do the
I'll go.
regular things you do.
I'll pick Paro then.
Mm.
He's got good timing too, like Pyro.
So you picked the southpaw. How do you? I mean, what do you think
I
about
love fighting
southpaw?
southpaws.
Obviously, you
I
fought
love fighting
Loma.
southpaws.
Okay.
I love fighting southpaws. Um, it was a period I think I fought like five. Like out of my last seven opponents, I think five were southpaw at one point.
So it looks like you might in this tournament you would meet Haney, right? Because you picked who over Devin versus Sandor, who you got,
I picked Devin.
and then Devin versus Catterall, who you got.
Devin.
Yeah. So then you said you would pick Regis over Matias, and then that means that Kenneth Sims would have to fight Regis. He would win. I think I would pick Kenneth Sims over Regis.
Yeah, because he can box and he can fight right and left-handed.
Yeah. So that means it
And
would
he
be
does
a lot
it
better
normally.
He moves
like,
a lot better than
it's a
Regis.
regular thing.
So then the last two matchups would be Devin versus Kenneth Sims, who you got. The winner is who you would meet. I think Devin has more pop than Kenneth Sims. Kenneth Sims got maybe 7 knockouts his whole career. So yeah, they both boxers, but one has a little more pop, maybe.
No, I think
But
Kenneth
for that one,
Sims
I'm not
punches are
for
a
that
little
fight.
more
I
technically
don't see
sound.
it. I don't for that fight. I don't see it as like who's the better boxer. For that fight, as they're both boxers, I'll look at it as who's the better fighter, because in that fight, the winner's gonna have to need to fight a little bit.
Well, Jamaine, those are all our questions, man. I want to thank you, obviously, for jumping on. Congrats on the big win. Hopefully, you can get back in the ring in January like you want and, get one of these big names. You deserve it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Give out your social media if anybody crazy enough not to be following you, champ.
Yeah, Instagram Jamaine Ortiz, Twitter Jamaine Ortiz R. Watch my YouTube videos. Subscribe to my channels, Jamaine Ortiz. You can find me,
All
and
right,
that's about it.
Thank you, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Jamaine Ortiz live on the show. We talking
Yeah.
boxing. We're talking Inoue and his nearly $20 million sponsorship by Riyadh Season. And